Part 130. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1291. Xiao Xian looked around. Seeing the expressions of all the trialists who were ready to move, I couldn't help but feel a hint of contempt on my lips. Even from such a distance, he could feel the malice in these people's hearts. It can be said that as long as someone takes the lead, these people will rush over together like hungry wolves, stripping him of all the inherited sacred weapons, and not even leaving his whole body behind. If it was before, without the help of the frozen stairs, Xiao Xian was really worried whether it would take time to escape. But things are different now. Now that he has reached the true Golden God realm, he still has some confidence. Even if he faces Qin Feng and Chen Meng again, he will still have confidence in his heart. If these two people want to take action, Xiao Xian really wants to see how powerful the second level of the flame Ju he obtained is, and whether he can defeat Qin Feng and Chen Meng without using magic weapons. If possible, this is naturally a good thing. Xiao Xian, don't be too arrogant. Do you think you can defeat the likes of us when you reach the Golden God realm? Are you a little too confident? Qin Feng sneered, to tell you the truth, even if they are both in the Golden God realm, the gap between cultivators is very big. Even if you have obtained the inheritance of the Valley Saint, you are only at the beginning of the Golden God realm now. When he said this, he actually encouraged the people around him. After all, Xiao Xian has now received the inheritance of the Saint of the Valley, and his strength may have improved a lot if he does not give some confidence to the trialists around him. Qin Feng is really worried that they will be afraid. But now after what he said, he also has a lot more confidence in his heart. For him, he is also a cultivator who entered the Golden God realm early. By his own strength. If you want to defeat Xiao Xian one-on-one, you may have to spend some time, and you may even lose the battle accidentally and lose face in front of Chen Meng. But it's different now. If there are so many casual cultivators to help him, then his confidence in the battle will be much higher, not to mention this is an opportunity to perform well in front of Chen Meng. Qin Feng would not let go of such an opportunity. Beginner level of the Golden God realm. It may not be impossible to defeat the peak of the Golden God realm. Just like before, can't a small Golden God realm defeat the peak of the Golden God realm? Xiao Xian shook his head slightly. I'm afraid you, Qin Feng and Chen Meng, don't know this, right? In an instant, Qin Feng and Chen Meng's faces turned red. Little did they know that what Xiao Xian was talking about was what happened on the frozen stairs just now. This was naked humiliation. Xiao Xian, don't be too arrogant. Look at today's situation. Do you think you can get out without passing on your inheritance? Qin Feng squinted his eyes, his face full of anger. At the same time, the casual cultivators behind him and Chen Meng also gathered around, with menacing looks on their faces. In response, Tomb Qing Bailing and other Tomb Spirit sect disciples also gathered around. Qin Feng and Chen Meng, don't go too far. I have already said that young Master Xiao Xian is a guest of our Tomb Spirit section. If you go against young Master Xiao Xian, you are also going against our Tomb Spirit section. I hope you will not ask for trouble. Facing a group of casual cultivators, Tomb Qing also said politely. Regarding his words, the faces of all the cultivators also showed hesitation. They all know it. After all, the Tomb Spirit sect is the largest sect in the Flame Cemetery. There are many disciples and elders under the sect, and the Tomb Spirit sect, a strong dragon god realm man, sits in charge. These casual cultivators really don't dare to be too presumptuous. However, some other sects in the Flame Cemetery were not so polite. Star Sword sect and Yamaluadian are the best enemies. Their two sects have always been at odds with Tomb Spirit section, although they had defeated Tianli sect Yingyang with the help of Xiao Xian before. But now, I saw that Xiao Xian actually got the inheritance from the old man of the valley. They were naturally very excited. Compared with the care in the tomb, in the face of the inheritance of a strong saint, it is naturally nothing. At this time, Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian also stood up, with excited expressions on their faces. Brother Tum Ching, isn't this too selfish? The treasure of genius is a gift from heaven and earth. If Brother Xiao Xian is willing to share it, wouldn't it be a beautiful thing? Xiao Yan Luo had a smile on his face. I think this is what everyone wants to see, isn't it? After he said this, he looked at Xiao Xian and Tum Ching with a smile. Although he has a harmless look on his face, anyone with a discerning eye can see the greed in his heart. Little Yama, don't go too far. The inheritance of the Saint of the Valley is meant for those who are capable. If you want to have the ability, go find the old man of the valley yourself. What's the point of forcing Xiao Xian here? Are all of you in the Yama palace so shameless? Tum Ching said rudely with a livid face. At the same time, he felt a little serious in his heart. What he was most worried about happened. As a disciple of the Tomb Ling sect, the first sect in the Flame Cemetery, with a group of elite Golden God Realm disciples, if he only faced Qin Feng, Chen Meng, and other casual cultivators, Tomb Kingzin was still a little confident. He was confident that he could protect Xiao Xian from harm. However, if there are disciples like Yamaluadian and Star Sword sect taking action, maybe things are different. Compared to these unorganized casual cultivators, even if they have some strength, Tum Ching is confident in defeating them one by one. But for opponents like Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian, if there are elite disciples of their own sect behind them, it will be a bit troublesome for Tum Ching to deal with them. If they are not careful, they might really capsize. What? Are you scared? If you are afraid, hand over all the inheritance you have received from the Saint of the Valley now and let everyone understand it. This can be regarded as a favor to your Tomb Spirit sect. Xing Jian also looked proud. At this time, the situation on the scene had also undergone some changes. With Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian taking the lead, the other casual cultivator disciples were also ready to take action. These casual cultivators who hang out in the Flame Cemetery all year round are basically opportunists. At this moment, Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian were seen participating. They all took it for granted that maybe they would really have a chance to get the inheritance from the old man of the valley. It seems that you two are really going to be white-eyed wolves. Tum Ching's face also darkened. Have you forgotten that it was young Master Xiao Xian who saved your lives in the tomb? Now you actually repay kindness with hatred? What's the difference between this and animals? Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1292. In front of everyone. Tum Ching's words are not unimportant. However, when faced with the inheritance of the Holy Saint, naturally not so many people care. From a certain perspective, if they can obtain the inheritance of the saint, it is almost certain that they will enter the Dragon God realm in the future. Such a realm has almost already established a sect in the Flame Cemetery. Even if they get this inheritance, they might have a chance to stand out in the youth conference and get the qualification to enter Zhongzhou. And that is the real tremendous opportunity. So, does your Tomb Spirit sect really want to monopolize this inheritance? After Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian looked at each other, there was a bit of contempt on their faces. Do you really think that with the power of your Tomb Spirit sect, you can protect this inheritance? After saying this, the trialists next to them also had fierce expressions on their faces. For them, this matter is really a big deal at the moment. It is a bit difficult to get his inheritance from the old man in the valley, but it doesn't seem that difficult to get the inheritance from Xiao Xian. In their view, even if Xiao Xian reaches the Golden God realm, he is only at the beginning of the Golden God realm, and there is naturally a lot of gap between him and them. Under such circumstances, maybe they can also get some benefits. As for the Tomb Spirit sect, even though the sect is quite powerful in the Flame Cemetery, the problem is that now Tomb Spirit sect is only in the Golden God realm. If we say that the Tomb Spirit old man from the Dragon God realm is here. Maybe they didn't dare to say anything, but now Tomb Spirit sect only has a group of Golden God realm disciples, and relying on these people to protect the inheritance of the old man in the valley is a bit fanciful. While thinking about it, some disciples and casual cultivators from major sects also gradually moved closer, gradually surrounding Xiaoxian, Tum Qing, and others. Seeing this, Tum Qing's face became serious. Master Xiaoxian, you and Miss Bai Ling are guests of our Tomb Spirit section. Later, the Tomb Spirit sect disciples and I will break out a breakthrough for you. You and Miss Bai Ling will go first. Tum Qing was still relatively calm after all, and took the initiative to lower his voice and said to Xiaoxian, no matter what, we must not let these people get the inheritance of the Saint of the Valley. However, after he said these words, he did not get a response from Xiaoxian. This inevitably aroused Tum Qing's suspicion. You know, since he met Xiaoxian, he has also seen the latter's courage and boldness. Ordinarily, he should not be a person who is afraid of battle. Why don't you say a word now? Are you really scared by people like Xiaoyan Luo and Xing Jian? But the next second, when he looked back at Xiaoxian, he was shocked. I saw Xiaoxian silently taking out the serious sword, his eyes cold. Under such cold and murderous eyes, even Tum Qing was startled. Ever since he met Xiaoxian, he seemed to have never seen him in such a state. His whole person was like a tiger eager to kill. In the next second, he would rush out and tear these enemies into pieces. Xiaoxian, you. Tum Qing couldn't help but worry. Since they want to die, don't blame me for killing, Xiaoxian said word by word. After coming to this tomb, I don't seem to have killed many people. In this case, I will use you people to test the valley. Let's inherit the legacy of the saint. Inherited? If you had inherited it for a few years, maybe I would still be afraid. You have just received these inheritances. I'm afraid you don't even understand the basic core. Why do you think you can defeat us? Ridiculous. Xiaoyan Luo sneered, and the black mist shrouded his body again. In the tomb, the disciples of Yamaluadian also moved closer to him. After the skills on their bodies slowly started to work, a strange formation was formed. Black Mist Yama Formation. Yamluadian actually prepared such a grand formation. After seeing this formation, Tum Qing also changed his expression. This is one of the bottom pressing formations of Yamaluadian. I originally thought that they didn't take it out in the tomb, so they were unprepared. Who knew that this would happen? It's time to take it out. Star Sword Sect, prepare for the 9 Swords returning formation. Almost at the same time, Xing Jian also sneered and said to the casual cultivators behind him. At this time, 9 casual cultivators wearing various clothes came out. But the next second, they all took off their coats, revealing the Star Sword Sect clothes underneath. It turned out that the disciples of the Star Sword Sect were not completely killed. Instead, they had been hiding among the casual cultivators. At this time, they took the initiative to come out after being summoned by the Star Sword Sect. This also surprised other sects. Not only Tomb Spirit Sect, but also Lai Huo from True Fire Academy was a bit surprised. You know, we encountered all kinds of dangers in the tomb before, and even Xiaoyan Luo and Xing Jian almost died. But even at that time, neither of them summoned any disciples from their sect. Results now. While snatching the inheritance of the saints of the valley, they actually summoned the disciples of their own sect at the same time. This method is indeed too despicable. However, even Tomb Green now has to admit that their shameless method is very effective. After fighting with various monsters in the tomb before, the disciples of Tomb Spirit Sect are also very exhausted. Their current one-on-one combat effectiveness is really not as good as these experienced disciples. Not to mention, now Yamaluadian and Star Sword sect disciples have joined forces. This is definitely a huge challenge for the Tomb Spirit section. If not done well, the Tomb Spirit sect will really suffer a big loss here. Yamluo Palace, Star Sword section. Fortunately, you are still a well-known sect in the Flame Cemetery. I never expected that you could do such a shameless thing. Tum Ching also turned pale with anger. However, his current angry rebuke is not a threat to Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian. On the contrary, the latter two laughed heartily. Hearing these undisguised sarcastic laughter, Xiao Xian sneered instead, "Do you really think that with two broken formations, you can get the inheritance of the old man in the valley? Don't you look down on the old man of the valley? You. Ha, boy, you are so arrogant." Xiao Xian's words directly rubbed the faces of Star Sword sect and Yamaluadian on the ground. At this moment, Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian Xian were also holding their breath. They all want to prove themselves in the battle against Xiao Xian, or at least save some of the face they lost on the frozen stairs. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1293. Xing Jian and Xiao Yanluo were seen with angry expressions on their faces. Xiao Xian also smiled slightly, showing disdain. For him, Xing Jian and Xiao Yanluo were his defeated enemies. He also knew the strength of these two people relatively well. At that time, when he was in the Little Golden God realm, he was not afraid of these two people. Now that he has become a cultivator of the Golden God realm, he will naturally not be afraid. Needless to say, dealing with the two of them is just a matter of effort. As for other things, perhaps now, with the bonus of the two large formations, the combat effectiveness of the two of them can be improved. But this was within Xiao Xian's estimation. As long as the strength of these two people has not been strengthened to the Dragon God realm, then Xiao Xian will have enough confidence to defeat them. But now, Tum Ching is also worried about Xiao Xian. Previously, Xiao Xian participated in the trial of the frozen stairs. Although he would also encounter dangers, it was on top of the trial of the Old Man of the Valley. With the Old Man of the Valley sitting in charge, it was impossible for others to kill Xiao Xian. At most, he would be injured and withdraw from the trial. But it's different now. Now that Xiao Xian has inherited the inheritance of the Old Man of the Valley, he will naturally become the target of these trialists. As a member of the Tomb Spirit sect, Tum Ching is very aware of the methods of these casual cultivators in the Flame Cemetery. It can be said that these people are all people who do anything for the sake of strength, especially Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian, who have always been at odds with him. In the previous trials, they were somewhat more restrained. But now, facing the inheritance of the old man in Shangwu, they might not be so polite. Master Xiao Xian, be careful. The Black Mist Yama formation and the Nine Swords Gaixin formation are quite powerful. It is said that they are powerful enough to kill strong men in the Dragon God realm. I and the disciples from the Tomb Spirit sect will go up first later, and you and Miss Bailing will find a chance to leave. Tomb Green said solemnly, "You have just received the inheritance from the old man in the valley, and you have not yet fully understood the content of the inheritance. Don't show off." After he said these words, all the disciples of the Tomb Spirit sect also looked serious. They all know that this time they will probably face a real opponent. If they are not careful, they may really fall here. But after hearing this, Xiao Xian shook his head slightly. "Brother Tomb Green, thank you very much, but since they are looking for me, if I back down, won't my reputation be slandered by them?" Xiao Xian said as he also walked up to the disciples of the Tomb Spirit sect. This scene also surprised everyone present. Tum Ching was even more anxious. He quickly stopped Xiaoxian and reminded anxiously, "Brother Xiaoxian, don't be so impulsive. Although Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian are shameless, they still have a group of disciples to protect them. How can you defeat it alone, so many people? Master, it's better to be careful about sailing the Wanyan ship. We will fight together with the disciples of the Tomb Spirit sect," Bai Ling also suggested. "No need. Just 2 golden god realms. As long as there is no strong person at the level of Dragon God, no one can stop me here." Xiao Xian laughed, drew out the serious sword, and walked step by step in the direction of Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian. Such a scene also shocked everyone present. Not only Xiao Yanluo, Xing Jian, and others, but also some people watching the excitement showed doubts on their faces. They were a little confused. At the same time, the large formation behind the two of them was activated at the same time, and black mist suddenly erupted, with little silver swords hidden in it. Xiao Xian wants to fight 2 sects alone. Isn't this asking for death? At this moment, after seeing Xiao Xian's actions, Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian secretly rejoiced. This time, Zhou Shitongqing was also surprised. He had also felt a little strange before. He didn't know why Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian had such a good relationship. Tum Qing did not dare to neglect. After all, Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian were both strong men in the Golden God realm. I don't know what Xiao Xian is doing. Is it possible that he wants to defeat the elite disciples of Yamahal and Star Sword sect by himself? The two of them, along with some casual cultivators, stopped in front of Tum Qing. "Xiao Xian, since you are seeking death, don't blame us for being rude." Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian looked at each other, with a bit of cruelty in their eyes. At the same time, equally excited were the casual cultivators headed by Qin Feng and Chen Meng. Such a thing is simply unimaginable. However, they did not help yet. Although he is very greedy for Xiao Xian's inheritance, he still has to be cautious when doing things, at least not like Qin Feng and Chen Meng, who directly snatch it without any scruples. Most of these 2 sects have already secretly formed an alliance, and they may have already prepared these 2 formations for this trip to the Valley Old Man's tomb. Not good. If Xiao Xian is really hiding behind Tomb Spirit sect Tum Qing. Disciples of Tomb Spirit sect, protect young master Xiao Xian. Seeing Xiao Xian approaching, Xiao Yanluo and Xing Jian also roared at the same time. Qin Feng sneered and said, "So, you'd better stop interfering. Do it." At that time, if they defeat Xiao Xian and get the inheritance, they can also fight back and say that Xiao Xian took the initiative to attack and they were just forced to fight back. In this way, even the Tomb Spirit old man of the Tomb Spirit sect can't say anything. Both of them are people of sect. For them, the more chaotic the scene is, the more opportunities they have to take advantage of it, and they can even obtain these inheritances opportunistically. The formation of these 2 people was perfectly integrated. At this moment, with the help of a large formation, it is probably difficult for Xiao Xian to withstand their attacks. You know, Xinjiang sect and Yamaluo Palace are also the top sects in the Flame Cemetery. Even though Xinjiang sect and Xiao Yanluo are still just cultivators at the Golden God level, who can know that there is no one behind them? What trump card exists? At the moment, he also led a group of Tomb Spirit sect disciples to silently recite the Tomb Spirit sect's great formation skills, hoping to help Xiao Xian resist this first powerful attack. It was not easy for them to directly fight against the Tomb Spirit sect, but it was different now. Xiao Xian actually took the initiative to attack. Isn't this the best opportunity? Brother Tomb Green. Not far away, 2 familiar figures appeared. It was Qin Feng and Chen Meng. Under such circumstances. Do it? I'm really sorry. Xiao Xian's saint inheritance is too important. We still think it would be better to share it with everyone. But now it seems things should be clear. What's more, there are Qin Feng, Chen Meng, and others behind them now, watching eagerly. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1294. Seeing Qin Feng and Chen Meng's appearance. Tum Qing's face was also livid, and he said coldly, "You two, get out of here quickly. Do you want to go against my Tum spirit sect?" Qin Feng and Chen Meng looked indifferent to Tum Qing's anger. They themselves are casual cultivators who pursue strength. For them, if they can get enough power, anything is possible. What's more, now Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian are taking action. For Qin Feng and Chen Meng, it saves a lot of energy. As long as they stop Tum Qing and other Tum spirit sect disciples, they believe that Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian will quickly deal with Xiao Xian. When the time comes, maybe they will be able to make some profit as well. Do you think that with the help of a mob like you can defeat our Tum spirit sect? Tum Qing said with a sneer. I don't think so. I think with the cooperation of Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian, Xiao Xian won't be able to hold on for long. As long as we stop you now, it will be considered a credit, right? Qin Feng narrowed his eyes and said, Brother Tum Qing, I think you should stop taking action. We won't let you go over to help him. Hear this. Although Tum Qing was annoyed, he had to admit that what he said did make sense. However, he no longer hesitated and directly activated his strongest technique. A huge soul appeared from his mind. Then, the soul turned into a giant holding a weapon and attacked Qin Feng and Chen Meng directly. Seeing Tum Qing take the initiative to attack, Qin Feng and Chen Meng did not dare to neglect, and immediately drew out their weapons and used their kung fu to move forward to resist. Only a loud noise was heard in mid-air. The attacks of Tum Qing, Qin Feng, and Chen Meng collided with each other. The three of them took a few steps back almost at the same time. In the end, their faces turned a little pale. Although it is 1 against 2. But Tum Green still did not fall behind. Under his leadership, the disciples of the Tum spirit sect no longer hid their secrets and began to use their techniques to attack. Compared to casual cultivators such as Qin Feng and Chen Meng, although the disciples of the Tum spirit sect were somewhat inferior in terms of numbers, they were superior in their skills and had strong combat skills, so they did not suffer any loss for the time being. But as the leading disciple of the Tum spirit sect, Tum Qing was a little anxious. He understood that Xiao Xian was now being jointly attacked by Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian. He needed to support them as quickly as possible and could not waste too much time on Qin Feng and Chen Meng. But Qin Feng and Chen Meng also guessed what he was thinking. The attack between the two of them was not very fierce. Instead, they just kept pestering each other like bonbons, preventing Tum Qing from going to support him. This also made Tum Qing anxious and helpless. However, what surprised him was that he found that Bai Ling was stronger than he thought. With the innate flame holy body. When Bai Ling fights with people, his body is always wrapped in terrifying snow-white flames. Even from a distance, they can feel the terrifying temperature of these flames. Several casual cultivators at the Golden God realm were at a disadvantage in their fights with her. Even Qin Feng and Chen Meng couldn't help but look at her with admiration. Brother Tum Qing, you stop them first, and I will help my master. Bai Ling also knew the purpose of Qin Feng and Chen Meng, and after scolding him softly, the white flames on his body swelled up instantly. Okay, Tum Qing gritted his teeth and activated his soul power again to block Bai Ling. Boom! Boom! Accompanied by two loud noises. The 5 or 6 casual cultivators in front of Bai Ling were instantly blown away. Even Qin Feng and Chen Meng in the distance were knocked back a few steps by the power of the flames. At the same time, several casual cultivators wanted to stop them, but they were forced back by Bai Yan. This scene also surprised Qin Feng and Chen Meng. They also didn't expect that this Bai Ling could be so powerful and could walk to Xiaoxian despite the obstruction of so many casual cultivators. And at this moment, he could see that among the combat techniques used to attack him, there were some traces of the movement of the avenue. For them, they are more willing to put their thoughts on Xiaoxian. They know that despite the menace of the Tomb Spirit sect, Xiaoxian is still the strongest in terms of strength. At this time, Yamaluadian and Xinjiang sect were not polite and took action directly. Xiaoyan Luo and Xingjian were disdainful of Qin Feng and Chen Meng. I have seen too many strong men of all levels. As long as he concentrates. If he could see his opponent's weakness now, wouldn't he already have an advantage when fighting against him in the future? Just such power. If there are enough opportunities. Xing Jian said pitifully, when the time comes, I'm afraid Tum Qing will kneel down and beg us to get this inheritance. Don't worry about others, capture Xiaoxian first. As long as we get the inheritance of the old man in the valley, no one else has anything to fear. As long as he does a little analysis, he can roughly know the trajectory and weaknesses of this technique. The disciples of the two sects also had warm eyes. This actually surprised him. Xinjiang's words still made them very excited. Not to mention, they also didn't expect that Qin Feng and Chen Meng were such useless people, and that so many people couldn't even stop an ordinary Golden God realm Bai Ling. Humph. It's just one more person who will die. Under the white sword rain that filled the sky, there was also a terrifying black mist. It's enough to scare the hell out of most people. Take action. As long as you know its weaknesses, you can defeat them with all your strength. As long as they defeat Xiaoxian and get the inheritance of the old man of the valley from the latter, then it won't be a big deal even if they offend the Tomb Spirit sect. Say this. What kind of waves can a mere Xiaoxian make? You must know that even on the Dao continent, there is one truth that will not change, that is, no technique, no physique, no Dao is perfect. And now, isn't the inheritance of the old man in the valley the best opportunity for them to break through? However, these things are not enough for Xiaoxian. After all, he walks step by step from two main roads. They also didn't believe that Tum Qing and other disciples could remain indifferent when faced with the inheritance of a powerful saint. So for a while, although the attacks from Star Sword and Little Yama were terrifying, after entering the Golden God realm, he clearly felt something unusual when fighting against others. Kill him, and then use the soul search technique to find the inheritance in his body. After all, the fact that they can be selected to participate in the tomb exploration proves that they are all extremely talented disciples in the sect. In the future, it may not be possible to break through the Golden God realm, achieve the Dragon God realm, or even a higher realm. However, they didn't take Bai Ling too seriously. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1295. At this moment, seeing Xiaoxian standing there dumbfounded, motionless, as if he was frightened, Xing Jian and Xiaoyan Luo also had sarcastic smiles on their faces. Before, because of Xiaoxian's excellent performance on the frozen stairs, they were indeed a little worried, feeling that the former was indeed an unstable factor. But now, after seeing his performance, they all had a bit of understanding on their faces. It turned out that Xiaoxian was just a paper tiger, previously on top of the frozen stairs. It is certainly a great thing for one person to defeat Qin Feng and Chen Meng, but now it seems that this is just luck. After all, if Xiaoxian was really capable, he wouldn't be scared like this now. Ha ha ha. Brother Xingjian, you also said that Xiaoxian's strength is so terrifying, but now it seems that it is nothing more than that. Xiaoyan Luo said proudly, before, we didn't use our full strength, which gave him a chance to be arrogant and domineering. Now that we join forces, doesn't he have no chance at all? Ha ha. Compared to the proud little Yama, Xinjiang should be more cautious. He first looked at Xiao Xian carefully, and after confirming that the latter had no intention of taking action, he also sneered. It seems that Brother Yama's analysis is good. This Xiao Xian must have used some kind of cheating method on the frozen stairs to deceive the inheritance of the old man in the valley. How shameless! Xinjiang sneered and said, however, it would be an honor for him to die under our Xinjiang Sect's 9 Swords returning formation. When the time comes, is this the inheritance of the old man in the valley? How about half of it for each of us? When he said this, he was naturally affirmed by Xiao Yan Luo. For him, facing Xiao Xian one-on-one, he may not be able to win steadily, but now he wants to hand over half of his inheritance to Xinjiang, and he is really reluctant to do so. That's not a problem. It's just, how should Qin Feng and Chen Meng deal with it? I'm afraid they won't give up the fight for inheritance. Little Yama also asked, if they are unwilling to give up, what should we do? After hearing this, Xinjiang sneered directly, Brother Yan Luo, what you said is a bit belittling. Compared with sects like ours, what does Qin Feng and Chen Menjiao mean? It's just a bunch of rabble. Don't say that if we snatch away Xiao Xian's inheritance today, we will kill them all here. So what? This. When Xiao Yan Luo said these words, Xing Jian was secretly surprised and looked at him with admiration. At this moment, Xinjiang also realized it. When it comes to combat prowess and cultivation level, he and Xiao Yan Luo may be on par with each other, but when it comes to the viciousness of his mind, he really can't compare to the latter. How? Is it possible that Brother Xinjiang has fallen in love with that little girl Chen Meng? If Brother Xinjiang is willing to give up half of his inheritance, I would be willing to help you catch that little girl and make her a little girl who sleeps in the conservatory. How about that? Xiao Yan Luo said with a smile. He understood that although there was a cooperative relationship with Xinjiang now, it was only for Xiao Xian. In the future, in the Flame Cemetery, the Yama Palace and the Star Sword sect will probably still have a competitive relationship. Similarly, Xiao Yan Luo also had a sarcastic look on his face, looking like he was sure of victory. But the next second, their expressions changed. Xinjiang shook his head and looked at Xiao Xian with a sneer. As expected of young master Xiao Xian, he is very capable. Faced with the siege of so many powerful men in the Golden God realm, he managed to survive. Tum Qing also let out a long sigh of relief and said to Qin Feng with a sneer, it seems that, your purpose has not been achieved. Seeing the looks of the two of them, Tum Qing was also slightly disdainful, are you two a little too confident? If young master Xiao Xian can defeat Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian, do you think you will have a good ending? How could Xiao Xian come out unscathed? This scene really surprised Xing Jian and Xiao Yan Luo. They all knew the power of the black mist and sword light formation just now. It can be said that even a strong person in the Dragon God realm will have to retreat when faced with the formation they have painstakingly constructed. Similarly, Chen Meng was furious when he saw this scene. This is naturally a surefire thing. Brother Yama, this is a bit of a joke. At the same time, Tum Qing Bailing was also shocked. Humph. Judging from the state of his body, not even the corners of his clothes were scratched. Trash. What a bunch of trash. The two of them also thought that with the cooperation of Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian, they should be able to deal with Xiao Xian easily. Chen Meng is not a fairy in the sky, so how could he be more important than the inheritance of a saint? Seriously, if he could understand the inheritance of a saint, wouldn't there be as many women as he could? Is there any surprise? If you can exchange a casual cultivator for the inheritance of the old man in the valley. Xiao Xian looked disdainful, there is no subtlety in the formation of your level. It is just the result of two large formations barely stitched together. If you want to kill someone with this, it is a bit fanciful. It's so embarrassing. So many people besieged Xiao Xian, but he was still unharmed. Idiot. Trash. In this regard, Qin Feng also nodded solemnly. Facing Xiao Yan Luo and seeing Jian who were stunned. Xiao Xian, how did you come out? Xiao Yan Luo couldn't help but gasped, his eyes full of surprise. Who knew this would be the final result? They were worried just now whether Xiao Xian would really be strangled in the formation, but now they are relieved. Chen Meng also sneered, I still don't believe that a small person in the Golden God realm can really change the world. Qin Feng looked annoyed. It seems that the attacks just now are ineffective. I saw that Xiao Xian walked out unscathed amidst the black mist and sword light. However, Xin Zhan was not a fool. After hearing what Xiao Yan Luo said, he refused immediately. You don't think that just two broken formations can kill me, do you? That's ridiculous. Don't worry, young Master Tomb Green. If the two of them are not capable of taking down Xiao Xian, then we don't mind taking action and letting Xiao Xian see the strength of our casual cultivators. This is simply earth-shattering. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1296. After Tomb Green said these words, Qin Feng and Chen Meng also had hesitation on their faces. They also understood that with Xiao Xian's strength, it was indeed possible to have what Tomb Qing said was possible. At least, looking at Xiao Yan Luo and seeing Jian now, it seems that they are indeed no match for Xiao Xian. What to do? Looking at the looks of Xiao Yan Luo and seeing Jian, they really don't seem to be Xiao Xian's opponents. Qin Feng also lowered his voice and asked. At this moment, Chen Men's face looked as ugly as possible. Originally, in her plan, she wanted to mess up the scene in the tomb so that they, the casual cultivators, could profit from it. However, she never expected that Xiao Xian was so strong. Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian have obviously used the most powerful formations in their sects, but who knew that they still couldn't do anything to defeat Xiao Xian? This was definitely something he couldn't imagine. Snored. What a big sect disciple. It seems that they are all just trash. If they can't deal with Xiao Xian, let us take action. Chen Meng sneered and said, let Master Tomb Qing see the strength of our casual cultivators. By then, the inheritance of the saint will belong to our casual cultivators. Although she is a female. However, for such a long time, his reputation among casual cultivators in the Flame Cemetery is still very high. After saying such a sentence, some of the casual cultivators also had greedy looks on their faces. After all, it is extremely difficult for ordinary cultivators like them to get opportunities. The inheritance of a saint like the old man of the valley is not something that can be obtained casually. Now, with the help of Chen Meng and Qin Feng. For them, this is naturally a good thing. At the moment, under the leadership of Qin Feng and Chen Meng, these casual cultivators all looked in the direction of Xiao Xian with some greed on their faces. How? With a bunch of people like you, do you want to get involved in the inheritance of the saint? Isn't it a bit self-righteous? After seeing the appearance of Qin Feng, Chen Meng, and others, Tomb Qing couldn't help but chuckle. Some people just don't know their own strength. Have they forgotten the time when they were defeated by young Master Xiao Xian? Say such a sentence. Qin Feng and Chen Meng's expressions instantly turned ugly. For them, losing at the hands of Xiao Xian, who was in the little golden god realm, was the biggest stain in their lives, and it was something they were unwilling to even mention. Now, Tomb Qing doesn't give them any face. To bring this matter up again in front of so many people, doesn't this just embarrass them? Tomb Qing, don't be too arrogant. Don't think that with the support of the Tomb Spirit sect behind you, you can speak freely here. With your strength today, you can't stop the two of us. Qin Feng had a gloomy face and said coldly, "If you don't get out of the way, don't blame us for being rude." With that said, he and a group of casual cultivators took the initiative to come up. In this regard, Tum Ching also looked contemptuous. For him, as a core disciple of Tum spirit sect, he still has basic self-confidence in his heart. Although his strength may not be as strong as Xiao Xian. However, facing loose cultivators like Qin Feng and Chen Mang, he thought he was still capable of fighting. At that moment, Tum Ching no longer hesitated and led a group of Tum spirit sect disciples directly towards Qin Feng, Chen Mang, and others. The other side. Facing Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian, Xiao Xian dealt with them with ease. Perhaps, from the perspective of other sect disciples in the Flame Cemetery, facing masters like Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian at the same time is somewhat difficult and dangerous. However, after being promoted to the Golden God realm, Xiao Xian also has a powerful insight that ordinary people in the Golden God realm do not have. He can easily see clearly every move of his opponent, and he can also analyze the best response in the shortest time. Way. Under the circumstances, even if Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian joined forces, they would feel constrained everywhere and at a disadvantage. This also surprised both of them, and at the same time they looked puzzled. Speaking of which, although it was their first time fighting against Xiao Xian, they had seen Xiao Xian's fighting strength before. Within their previous estimates. Although Xiao Xian had some strength, he could not resist the two of them joining forces and the suppression of the formation. As for the end, if Xiao Xian is smart enough, he should take the initiative to hand over the saint inheritance he received. In this way, they might be able to spare his life. But who knew that Xiao Xian's choice would be so arrogant? Instead of taking the initiative to surrender, you actually plan to challenge them? Isn't this just a matter of not taking them seriously? Xiao Xian, I didn't expect you to be so bold. Since you are seeking death, don't blame us for being rude. You may not know that the most powerful part of this Black Mist Silver Sword formation is not the attack, but the siege. Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian showed solemn expressions on their faces. Then, in front of Xiao Xian, a strange technique started running on both of them at the same time. Under the operation of the technique, the power of the Dao in the two people began to gradually merge, and then a huge vortex of Dao power was formed at the scene. At the same time, all the trialists in the tomb can feel the powerful attraction in the vortex. And with the movement of Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian's skills, the power of this vortex continued to grow, and finally, even Tum Ching, Qin Feng, Chen Meng, and others felt this huge and powerful vortex of the avenue. Some weak casual cultivators and sect disciples looked horrified after seeing the whirlpool and retreated one after another. They were all obviously frightened. However, compared to the reactions of these people, Xiao Xian's reaction was relatively calm. He just looked up at the whirlpool of skills that gradually gathered in the sky, like a deaf-end head with teeth and claws. He remained calm, as if he saw the willow trees on the small bridge in the south of the Yangtze River. At this scene, even Tum Ching and Bai Ling could not help but swallow their saliva, feeling secretly worried. Even though they weren't in it. However, even from such a distance, they could feel the powerful and terrifying power in the vortex. But what they don't understand is, ordinarily, Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian are only practitioners at the Golden God level, and they do not belong to the same sect. Even if they practiced the same technique together before. However, the power of the Dao in their bodies is different, and their understanding of the Dao is also different. Why can they create such a powerful Dao technique now? This is indeed a bit strange. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1297. At this moment, who among the graves of the old man in the valley has the most say in this whirlpool of skills, then it is none other than Xiao Xian. In this vortex, Xiao Xian also frowned slightly, while running his skills to resist the power of the outside world, he silently understood the rules of the Tao operation. In fact, according to normal circumstances, as a cultivator of the Golden God realm, it was somewhat unrealistic for him to understand the operating rules of this great method. But it's different now. As the creation soul, Xiao Xian, after acquiring the nine heavens flame Ju from the old man of the valley, his understanding of the great Dao has been greatly improved. The road that is difficult for ordinary people to understand is easy for Xiao Xian. It takes almost no effort. Xiao Xian can understand it thoroughly. Therefore, although the whole person was enveloped by this huge whirlpool of skills, Xiao Xian still did not panic. Instead, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth and he slowly unsheathed the serious sword. With the sword unsheathed, a silver ray of light also appeared in the vortex. Tiankong swordsmanship. Xiao Xian let out a low roar, and the Tiankong sword began to dance slowly. Although each move was slow, it could vaguely activate the power of the great road between heaven and earth. A streak of orange flame power. It also slowly surged out from his serious sword. At first, these weak flames were inconspicuous in the vortex. Under the huge power of the vortex, it seemed that they would be swallowed up in the next second. However, as Xiao Xian danced faster and faster, the power of the flames continued to increase geometrically. In less than half a stick of incense, the power of the flames was enough to compete with the vortex. This scene also surprised Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian. They never expected that Xiao Xian's seemingly ordinary swordsmanship could be so powerful. To know, this vortex of Dao skills was condensed by the two of them, plus more than 20 elite disciples from the two sects, after a lot of hard work. It is so powerful that even a strong person in the Dragon God realm can't stand it. I'm afraid everyone will suffer a big loss here. Who knew that it would be offset by Xiao Xian in this way now? How can this be? How could this guy have such a powerful power? Isn't he just an ordinary golden god? Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian also looked at each other with surprise on their faces. But they were astonished. The vortex of the avenue created was finally swallowed up step by the power of flames created by Xiao Xian. Then, a huge flame vortex appeared in the mid-air of the tomb. This scene also shocked everyone present. You know, in their estimation, Xiao Xian alone against Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian is almost bound to lose. But who knew that Xiao Xian could actually show such strength? Just relying on his sword skills, he not only resisted the terrifying vortex of martial arts, but also used this vortex for his own use. This is simply unimaginable. If this situation continues, in the end, I am afraid that Xiao Xian will be able to kill Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian at will. And this feeling has actually enveloped the two of them. Especially after seeing the huge vortex of flames in mid-air, the two of them really felt like they were being stared at by death. Such power. It was actually created by a cultivator who had just entered the Golden God realm. Xing Jian couldn't help but take a breath of air. He originally wanted to say something more, but in the next second, his eyes gradually widened with fear in his eyes. I saw a huge vortex of flames in the sky falling directly from the sky. Under the scorching and terrifying flames, the entire tomb seemed to be at the end of the world. The intense flame burned for as long as a stick of incense. After seeing this scene, Tomb Ching also said excitedly, "He is worthy of being valued by Master. With such strength, I am afraid that in the future, he will be a unique strong man in the flame cemetery." When the flames dissipated, Xiao Yan Luo Xing Jian and the two of them, as well as more than 20 elite disciples in their sect, were all burned to ashes by the flames. However, if he meets people from these two sects in the flame cemetery in the future, how should he face them? She has always been the most loyal fan around Xiao Xian. At this time, seeing such a powerful force of Xiao Xian, she was naturally extremely excited. The flame vortex is like a huge meteorite. This time, Based on the previous situation, Bai Ling was also excited about this. The talent and strength shown by Xiao Xian are definitely not something ordinary people can achieve. My master is just trying his best now. After thinking for a while, they roughly understood that there was indeed nothing wrong with what Bai Ling said. They originally thought that no matter what, Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian were the core disciples of the large sect, and there were more than 20 elite disciples of the Golden God realm beside them. Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian are both core disciples in their respective sects, and the former is being trained as the next sect leader of Yama Palace. For a moment, almost everyone's eyes were focused on Xiao Xian, as if they wanted to see what he would say. Boom. Bai Ling also said seriously. Boom. Xiao Xian seems not to have the strength to fight against the Dragon God realm. Even without giving Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian time to react, they were immediately enveloped. Even Qin Feng and Chen Meng not far away were stunned. If the masters of these two sects knew about such a thing, they would probably become furious. Didn't you notice that the power my master used just now is the core of Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian's skills? But now, he was killed directly like this? More importantly, although, he now has the inheritance from the old man of the valley. However, they are all elite disciples in the sect after all. Qin Feng also felt cold sweat break out from behind. Brother Xiao Xian, you are so amazing. Xiao Xian, you actually killed Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian. Of course. With such strength on paper, even a cultivator of the Dragon God realm would be somewhat afraid of him. After saying this, some of the trialists next to them also looked slightly curious. Don't say anything else. He never expected that Xiao Xian, as a casual cultivator, would be so courageous. Offend the Star Sword sect and Yama Luodian at the same time. Isn't he afraid of being hunted down by the masters of these two sects? Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1298. Incredible power. I didn't expect that young Master Xiao Xian's understanding of the Dao would be so powerful. He is simply, the chosen one. Tum Qing couldn't help but say. In response to his words, all the disciples present nodded frequently, obviously approving of this. Not to mention anything else, his record of defeating Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian alone was enough to eclipse all the geniuses in the Flame Cemetery. But at the same time, Qin Feng and Chen Meng's expressions were a little ugly. When they looked at each other, in addition to surprise, there was also a hint of fear in their hearts. You know, there were many conflicts between them and Xiao Xian before. Under such circumstances, they seemed to be a little confused about how to face Xiao Xian next. As casual cultivators, they knew very well what the people behind them were thinking. These casual cultivators are nominally following him. But they are also people who can only enjoy together, but cannot share hardships. When faced with interests, they may still unite a little, but if faced with a crisis, each of them will run faster than the other. Just like now. After seeing Xiao Xian's unhuman strength, some casual cultivators hesitated on their faces, and no longer had the arrogant and domineering expressions they had before. A bunch of trash. Chen Meng, let's go first. Although Qin Feng was dissatisfied with them, he could not change anything at the moment. He could only lower his voice and speak to Chen Meng. Chen Meng was also a little unconvinced about this. But after seeing Xiao Xian's strength, she also knew that if she faced the latter head-on, she wouldn't have much chance of winning. The best option seems to be to avoid the edge for the time being. However, just when the two of them turned around to leave, they saw Xiao Xian appearing in front of him like a ghost. See this scene. Qin Feng and Chen Meng's expressions also changed slightly. They could roughly tell that Xiao Xian was not going to let them leave easily. This was definitely not a scene they wanted to see. Xiao Xian, what are you going to do? Qin Feng also took the initiative to step forward and said with a cold face. What? I just want to eliminate the root cause. Xiao Xian said easily, isn't this what you have been doing? Say it. A shadow also flashed across the faces of Qin Feng and Chen Meng. Indeed, they have always longed for the inheritance of the old man in the valley. For this reason, they did not hesitate to make green leaves for Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Zhan, just hoping to kill Xiao Xian and get a piece of his body. But no one expected that Xiao Yan Luo and Xing Jian would be such useless people, and they would be killed by Xiao Xian after joining forces. This naturally made their situation a bit embarrassing. Speaking of which, Qin Feng and Chen Meng originally came with the idea of taking advantage of the situation, but who knew that instead of reaping the benefits, they put themselves in a dangerous situation and faced Xiao Xian. Neither of them was sure of victory. At this moment, when they looked at each other, their faces were a little more wary. Xiao Xian, what are you going to do? Could it be that, you are going to kill us? Qin Feng said arrogantly, but he was still a little panicked in his heart and couldn't help but say. Is it difficult to kill you? Xiao Xian sneered. You. Do you really dare to take action? Qin Feng's lips trembled a little and he gritted his teeth and said, I advise you not to be too arrogant, otherwise the final result will not be something you can bear. Result? I would like to see what results you can achieve. Xiao Xian couldn't help but sneered. In fact, he didn't care much about people like Qin Feng and Chen Meng. He has been practicing for thousands of years. What's more, the old man in the valley is probably paying attention to the development of things now. If he can't even deal with people like Qin Feng and Chen Meng, wouldn't it be a bit embarrassing? However, Qin Feng and Chen Meng did make him a little uncomfortable. Under such circumstances, Qin Feng and Chen Meng also responded quickly. I have heard that a person always has to pay for what he has done. But despite this, they were all a little panicked at the moment. All the casual cultivators were also stunned. Perhaps the gap between them and Xiao Xian has become insurmountable. They can walk into the tomb with these large sect disciples, so naturally they are all strong men with considerable strength. They found out. Perhaps, only the true geniuses above Nanzan Highs who are qualified to compete with him. To them, this was simply unbelievable. After all, it's been so long. No one had planned to make him look bad in such a big way, and even organized so many people to kill him. There was also a trace of bitterness on the faces of these casual cultivators. For them, without a particularly big opportunity, it would be somewhat impossible for them to surpass monsters like Xiao Xian in strength in a few months. Now that he has received the inheritance from the old man of the valley, if he cannot prove himself with his strength now, I am afraid that more people will cause trouble for him in the future. Even, it is a bit insulting to the inheritance of the saint. In Xiao Xian's view, Qin Feng and Chen Meng were just scenery on his cultivation journey. As long as they didn't disgust him, he didn't bother to waste too much time with these people. But facing such a powerful force. However, they all saw clearly that Xiao Xian had not broken through the barrier of the Golden God realm, and was now just an ordinary Golden God realm. Xiao Xian shook his head, since you have done something wrong, you still have to pay a price. And at the youth conference in the coming months. More importantly, at the same time, the scorching avenue of flames between heaven and earth in the tomb also started to circulate, roaring towards Qin Feng and Chen Meng like a giant flame dragon. Is this the inheritance of the legendary saint? How enviable! The gap between them and Xiao Xian seems to be getting bigger and bigger. It is not like the gap between cultivators in the Golden God realm at all. On the contrary, it is more like the gap between the Golden God realm and the Dragon God realm. As he spoke, the Sirius sword in his hand also moved slowly. Humph. The next second, they all used their most powerful defensive spells to resist for a while. What a terrifying firepower. This is definitely not something he wants to see. They couldn't even resist for a second, and then they were knocked down to the ground by the direct flames, and burned to ashes in front of a group of casual cultivators. Figure this out. Perhaps, only talented practitioners like Xiao Xian are qualified to truly enter Zhongzhou and become the disciples favored by those Zhongzhou sections. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1299. After killing 4 people in succession, Xiao Xian also looked at everyone with contempt, wanting to see if there were any trialists who were not afraid of death. At this time, most of the trialists were shocked by his strength. Looking at each other, no one dared to take the initiative to step forward. They also saw it. With Xiao Xian's current strength, it is definitely not something that ordinary people can resist. At least, they are definitely not Xiao Xian's opponents now. Therefore, trying to snatch away the inheritance of the old man in the valley is now an empty talk. Master Xiao Xian. How did you do it? At this moment, the most excited people were Tum Qing and Bai Ling. They also rushed over in a hurry, with surprise on their faces. What Xiao Xian can feel is. They were happy for him from the bottom of their hearts, which gave him a lot of comfort. Speaking of which, the inheritance of the old man of the valley is more powerful, right? Xiao Xian laughed and said, how are you two? You weren't injured just now, were you? No. How could they possibly hurt me? Tum Qing also said confidently, besides, our Tum spirit sect has a great friend like you, who among them would dare to make a mistake? As he spoke, he also looked arrogant. However, before he could finish speaking, Bai Ling on the side began to take the initiative to laugh and reveal his shortcomings. Brother Tum Qing, I think you should stop bragging. You were beaten to a very embarrassing state by Qin Feng and Chen Meng at that time. When? How is it possible? How can I be worse than 2 casual cultivators? Tum Qing suddenly became a little anxious and couldn't help but said angrily, I just didn't use all my strength at that time. If I had used all my strength, how could the 2 of them be too lazy to stop me? Seeing the green look on the tomb, all the disciples of the Tum spirit sect also laughed. Obviously, they were basically used to his harsh words. Under such circumstances, the Tum spirit sect where Xiao Xian belongs has almost become the strongest force in the tomb of the old man in the valley. Under such circumstances, naturally no one dared to stop anything. And just then, the old man from the valley and his group also walked out, all with smiles on their faces, and walked in front of the crowd. Yes, the second level can have such strength. The achievements in the future will be immeasurable. The old man in the valley said with a smile, in the future, I hope you won't give up your original intention when you go to Zhongzhou. Saw the old man of the valley appear. Xiao Xian also quickly handed over his hand and said seriously, please rest assured, Saint of the Valley, I will never let down your inheritance. Such a scene also made everyone present envious. You know, the Saint of the Valley is a serious Saint realm expert, and every move he makes contains endless understanding of the great Dao. And the people who can be selected by him are naturally talented and strong. Now, that Xiao Xian can be taken so seriously is enough to prove that Xiao Xian has indeed obtained his inheritance, and even obtained something more important. Maybe before, some people would still doubt his strength, but now the appearance of the old man in the valley is enough to slap them in the face. But at the same time, this behavior of the old man in the valley will probably arouse greed in more people's hearts. It is naturally a challenge for Xiao Xian. At this time, although most of the trialists did not dare to cause trouble. However, they are still somewhat eager in their hearts, and they all hope to take this opportunity to get some benefits. But they all understand. Now the appearance of the old man in the valley has made his position clear. If they don't want to die early, it's better to be honest and not cause trouble. No one knows. If they really offended the old man in the valley, the anger of a saint would be enough to kill them, and their end would be much more miserable than that of Qin Feng and Chen Meng. The things I gave you need to be used carefully and must not be buried, you know. The old man in the valley gave Xiao Xian a smile. I will never forget it. Xiao Xian also nodded quickly. Amazing. You are favored by Master at such a young age, and your future prospects are immeasurable. I hope you will not disappoint Master's expectations. If there is anything you don't understand in the future, you can come here and we can answer it for you. We all believe that you can enter the Dragon God realm, junior brother, come on. With the words of the old man in the valley, some of his disciples also echoed. This scene also made some of the trialists present full of envy. Naturally, they understood what these people's words meant. Not to mention that the old man in the valley is a strong man in the saint realm. Let's just talk about his disciples. These were once strong men at the level of Dragon God. Even though there is only a remnant soul left, their inner understanding of the Dao still exists. Xiao Xian is still only in the Golden God realm now. If he can get help from so many powerful people in the Dragon God realm, he might finally be able to gain some understanding on the Great Road and enter the Dragon God realm as soon as possible. Not everyone has such an opportunity. It's really enviable. I didn't expect that the Xiao Xian would have such good luck, and even the old man in the valley could support him. It's really hateful. If I had such an opportunity, I might have entered the Dragon God realm long ago. Even the Saint realm is not impossible. Some trialists couldn't help but said. Regarding their reactions, Xiao Xian and others did not care. He naturally understood that these people were just talking. If they were really powerful, wouldn't they have been inherited long ago? How could he be so suppressed? Even, was he manipulated so easily? This has also been proven by facts. As for how many abilities these people have, Xiao Xian is not curious at all. After all, there are countless capable people and strangers on the Dao continent, and no one knows what these people are capable of. Just like before. It may seem that none of them have bad intentions, but when faced with real interests, they will reveal their own desires. Therefore, Xiao Xian also looked around with a solemn look on his face. However, compared to his caution, these trialists were all frightened so much that no one dared to say anything while looking at each other. May I ask the saint, when will this tomb be opened? Can we leave? Tum Ching took the initiative to ask the old man in the valley. You can leave at any time as long as you want, the old man in the valley replied. This. Is that really true? Tum Ching couldn't help but be stunned. In terms of harvest, their tomb spirit sect's harvest is definitely the most among all the trialists. Therefore, as the leading disciple of the tomb spirit sect, he is quite satisfied with this exploration. Are you crazy? If you become the leader of the clan, all the clan members will become emperors. Author, greedy for the body but not FO. Chapter 1300. Certainly. Didn't you just come and leave whenever you wanted before? Why are you so polite now? The old man in the valley is still smiling. In response to this, all the testers looked a little embarrassed. It seems that this is indeed the case. Didn't they, the trialists, come to the tomb of the old man in the valley just for the chance? I really want to talk about it. The tomb of the old man in the valley is here in good condition, but so many people take turns entering it to hunt for treasures. This is somewhat offensive. Even now, if the old man in the valley kills them outright in anger, there seems to be no problem. Only now. Instead of blaming them, the old man in the valley gave them a chance to compete fairly. This was the most benevolent thing. What's more, the old man in the valley is not making things difficult for them now. On the contrary, he took the initiative to let them leave. At this point, they, the testers, could not criticize him harshly. However, what makes them feel helpless is they had stayed here for such a long time, and except for finding some treasures in the tombs of a few disciples of the old man in the valley, they basically found nothing. This is somewhat difficult for them to accept. Of course, if no one benefited, perhaps no one would say anything. The issue is, in addition to them, Xiaoxian was able to win the favor of the old man in the valley and even received the latter's inheritance, which naturally made them envious. Don't you have any other treasures to give to the old man of the valley? Since we don't get the chance to inherit, let's leave. It's a pity. We can only say that our skills are inferior to others, that's all. For this situation, some of the trialists also looked at each other with helplessness on their faces. But despite this, Tomb Ching Bailing still led a group of Tomb Spirit sect disciples to protect Xiaoxian. Most of them understand. The entire sect relied on Xiaoxian to escape from the tomb. If it weren't for the latter's performance in the tomb, their losses would have been even more serious. Maybe they themselves will perish here. In view of this situation, Xiaoxian naturally became the core figure of their Tomb Spirit section. In a sense, he was even more important than Tomb Ching. On that note, Xiaoxian will naturally get such respect. Then, the old man in the valley raised his hand slightly, and a portal emitting white light appeared in front of everyone. Through the portal, you could see that the entrance to the flame cemetery was on the other side. Thank you, Saint of the Valley, let's go. Let's go too. That's it, thank you Saint. Several trialists looked at each other and reluctantly turned around and left. Although they were unhappy. But they had to admit that they did not get any benefit from the tomb of the old man in the valley. Under such circumstances, the only option is to leave. However, when most of the people left and Xiaoxian was about to leave with Tomb Ching Bailing, the old man in the valley stopped them. This time, they were a little confused. Do you have any instructions from the saint? Tomb Ching was a little flustered. He also knew that this was the tomb of the old man in the valley after all. They were considered foreign invaders when they came here. Sometimes they should keep a lower profile. It's fate that we're here. Since Xiaoxian said, let them leave first. And now, being able to get this power-enhancing magic pill is naturally the icing on the cake, making them very happy. He understood very well that the reason why the old man in the valley was so generous was because he took the initiative to show his kindness to him. However, Xiaoxian was still a little confused in his heart. As the saying goes, every gain must come with a loss. Is this, the power-enhancing magic pill? The two of them also understood. Since he can get these benefits. The reason why they were able to obtain these was entirely because of Xiaoxian. Without Xiaoxian, how would they have obtained such precious elixirs? So now, Xiaoxian also looked confused. At this moment, the Tomb Spirit sect has at least 20 or 30 disciples. Now that all the disciples of the Tomb Spirit sect have accepted the power-enhancing magic pill, Xiaoxian owes a favor to the old man in the valley. But they also understand it in their hearts. It is said that this power-increasing magic pill is enough to greatly increase the strength of practitioners in the Golden God realm. When attacking the Dragon God realm, it will greatly increase the success rate. I didn't expect that a saint can have so many power-increasing pills. Divine elixir. This also made him somewhat confused. Then it means that he needs to pay something on the other hand, but now, he doesn't seem to understand what the old man in the valley means. After thinking about it, Xiaoxian saw the worried faces of Tomb Ching and Bai Ling and said, "Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with me. At least it is much stronger than the disciples and casual cultivators of other sects. In fact, under the leadership of Xiaoxian and Tomb Ching, they got a lot of benefits from this tomb. This means that this matter is not suitable for them to be present, so their best choice is to leave voluntarily. From this point of view, Xiaoxian should not be in any danger, and if he took the initiative to stay, he might have something big to talk about with the old man in the valley. Although judging from the current situation, the old man in the valley did not make any demands. I have something else that I might need to ask the saint of the valley. After hearing this, Tum Ching and Bai Ling also left with hesitation. However, Xiao Xian's face was a little embarrassed when he saw this scene. "Brother Tum Ching, please leave first. I'm giving you some opportunities. Don't say anything else." Under such circumstances, he would hand over his inheritance to Xiao Xian. After taking a look at it, some Tum spirit sect disciples also had surprises on their faces. The old man in the valley waved his hand, and a round white pill appeared in front of each Tum spirit sect disciple. Why did the old man in the valley not only give him the inheritance, but also give so many benefits to the Tum spirit sect disciples? At least, if Old Man Valley is looking for a successor of his own, there seems to be no need to be so kind to him, or even to the disciples of the Tum spirit sect. Is this just pity for him? Judging from the performance in the tomb and on the frozen stairs, the old man in the valley should still trust Xiao Xian. It's really a power-increasing magical elixir. It's unbelievable. The saint of the valley is so generous. Under the 20 or 30 pills, the entire tomb was filled with the fragrance of the pills, which smelled extremely comfortable.